This is a basic overview on what I did to get the Hawk Pro in the air. On the Radiomaster TX16S, long press the scroll wheel, and then short press model select. And here's where all the models are. Just long press any of them. Scroll once down to create a model. We'll choose plain. We'll leave that at yes, and this radio is AETR, and I left it like that, so channel 3 is the throttle or the motor. Long press to change, choose 1 or 2 with a Y cable, or page next, no flaps, and choose 1 channel for elevator, 1 for rudder, 2 and 4. And then I'll long press and choose yes. All as well. Hit return. So now let's rename this model. I'll hit return, hold down the model button, and change the name. Next, I will scroll to the left and look for internal RF mode and choose multi. Since I'm setting up the Hawk Pro, we need to choose FR-Sky D8. And just hit return. I will put this in bind mode and plug the battery into the quad and press the bind button, which is under the canopy. Now we need to set up the inputs and the mixes. So I'll page forward until I get to the inputs, and I'll scroll down to input 5. Select it. I use channel 5 for arming. You can name it if you'd like, but the important thing is the source. So scroll down and then select it and flip the switch that you want to use and return. Next, I set up the mode switch. So I will name that and then scroll down to the source and flip the switch I want to use for modes. I'll confirm that and then hit return twice. Next, I'll set up a beeper and select my source. And finally, channel 8 I use for turtle mode, and I'll choose my source. Alright, now I just have the mixes to set up. So I'll page right once and go to mix number 5, and it seems to have automatically selected arm, which is what I wanted. But if it didn't, you can scroll through and change as needed. And you can name it if you'd like, but I won't. Let's go to channel 6. It's set on mode, so that's good. Channel 7 is beep, and channel 8 is turtle. Now we're ready for Betaflight. Place the quad on a flat level surface. No battery needed for this first step. Connect it with your computer and open up the Betaflight configurator. Making sure the quad is level, hit the Calibrate Accelerometer button. Next, we will need to plug in a fresh battery. Keep the quad from overheating by placing it on or near a fan. In the Configuration tab, I turned off air mode and then hit save and reboot. In the Power and Battery tab, I adjusted my cell voltage settings as shown, and then I hit save. In the Receiver tab, I made sure that the channel map was the same as my radio, and then I saved that. In the Modes tab, I set up my switches. Starting with the arm switch, in the drop-down menu I selected Auto, then flipped the 3-position switch I wanted to use. I adjusted the range slider so that 2 out of 3 positions were in the armed mode. For angle and horizon, I used the same switch, but set the range slider so that in the middle position it's in angle mode and in the far position it's in horizon mode. Then I set the beeper on a 2-position switch. Earlier, since I disabled the air mode, I set up air mode to activate in the 3rd position of the arm switch. And finally, I set up turtle mode and then hit save. Back in the receiver tab, I double checked that my throttle, yaw, pitch, and roll were all working as expected. And I double checked all my switches. And everything seems to be good, so I'm ready to fly.